always referred to coloured pencils as magic wands because you waft them at the paper and something magic happens. So when we come to a watercolour pencil, of course it has to be a water wand. Basically, these are watercolour in a pencil. Lots of lovely pigment, very soft and easy to colour with. They've got a nice light feeling in the hand. You can use them as a beautiful colouring pencil like you would with your magic wands. They have a different look to normal colouring pencils, but they also have that magic trick of adding water or any liquid and you turn them into watercolour. All 48 water wands come to you in beautiful tins. The inner liner is removable, and the whole reason coloured pencils usually come in tins is to keep them nice and safe as they travel to you. The inner liner of ours is removable because you might like to get your pencils into a pencil cup, have them on display right in front of you so that they're ready to use. That's one of the best features of water wands, magic wands, is you pick it up, you use it. You don't have to do anything else. It's an instant creative gratification. Water wands are also fabulous for creatives that are on the move, catching any form of transport. And for that, we have the Time to Sketch a Size pencil wrap. This fits all 48 of the water wands, and there's extra spaces, as you can see, so that you can add a water brush or other drawing accoutrement that you might like to take. You can get these as part of a bundle, but you can also get them separately. They are such a handy, gorgeous, robust wrap that you might need an extra because your other pencils are going to get jealous when they see your water wands in their lovely little home. The colours are really carefully balanced in each of the sets. The drink cup has the little champagne glass, and the tropical reef has a little mermaid or fish scale as a little logo, so that if you want to put them back in their sets, it's a little easier. The names are on the backs of the tins as well, and the names kind of really are a big hint too. Drink cup is going to be especially wonderful for drawing people, and tropical reef is especially wonderful for drawing, well, just about everything else. Having said that, if you know me at all, you know that I use every colour to draw people, literally every colour. Let's look at the water wands in action. I started with a waterproof pen here, and I'm working in the Smooth Operator Journal. This isn't a watercolour paper. You don't have to use watercolour paper. We don't have to use much water to get these to activate. Then I put some colour down in each of the hearts for each of the colours, and then as you can see, I've already added some water to some of the colours, and I've just added it to half of the heart so that when I add water I can leave some without any water, so I can see what it looks like just as pencil. I can also see what it looks like in its purest form and then what it washes out to. Then I'm also colouring into the washed out part of the watercolour while the paper is still damp, because you can really see how intense the colour can be, and it's also just a whole nother technique. The colour names are all inspired by the beautiful creatures of the tropical reef. We start with Purple Tang, Blue Drummer, Barramundi. These are all amazing fish. Giant clams have gorgeous fluorescent pieces on parts of their body, and I actually went to a giant clam nursery. It was a conservation project in Borneo. Absolutely fascinating, and they hold such love in my heart, unlike blue bottles, which do not, but they are a gorgeous colour. Nudibranchs are colourful sea slugs, and I have an absolute fascination with them. So of course they get that beautiful aqua blue. Oh my God, is a divine emerald green. Moray eel is a majestic teal. Their faces are a little bit beauty challenged, but their bodies are glorious. Wrasse parrotfish are beautiful greens, as is green turtle, and seahorse, that's the show pony of the greens, that beautiful lime. And I love the way fan corals open up their arms, wafting their little fingertips to the sunshine. Gets named after that beautiful bright yellow cuttlefish. And Nemo get those hello here attention grabbing yellows and oranges. A wobbegong is a strange shark that sits on the reef itself. It has all sorts of camouflage, like little frilly bits on its body, and of all the sharks it's the nicest one. Shall we say that? It's got the best name. Wobbegong. What a name. Red bass, beautiful colour. Mantis shrimp. These are one of the strongest animals for their size on the planet. And this gorgeous pink is just one of the colours that they have on their bodies. Amazing little animals. Now, Valerie Taylor, it's not a fish. This colour is inspired by an incredible woman. Valerie Taylor was the Australian Jacques Cousteau, and her late afternoon TV show in the 80s would come on before Disney, and I just absolutely absorbed her love of nature and especially the ocean as she floated about in her hot pink scuba suit. I'm just going to jump to manta ray for a second because I mixed all the other pinks up. But I just want to say what a beautiful range of blacks and greys all live within that one manta water wand. Now, anemone, urchin and lionfish, I kind of got all mixed up when I was doing these swatches, but you can see the pink, or as I like to say, the pinkiosity is quite awesome and extreme. And our very last colour in this set is called Super Starfish, and it's a metallic gold watercolour pencil. So the name of each colour is at the very end of the pencil, so it's the last thing that remains as the pencil gets shorter and shorter as you use it. And you've got that little scale at the front to remind you that it's part of the Tropical Reef WaterWands set. Those 24 gorgeous colours are just half of the WaterWand story. Let's go into the next stage. This is the Drink Up set. And I'm going to swatch these out with you. I've got some little glass shapes that I've drawn in a waterproof pen, and I'm just filling them up with some of the pencil. As with all coloured pencils, but especially watercolour pencils and water wands, rather than try and lay down one thick application of colour, it's better to go softly or more gently and build up your colour layers. And just as I did with the Tropical Reef set, I want to put down enough colour so that when I add a little bit of water for this swatch sheet, you've got space to leave some of the actual pencil just as pencil, some so that it's washed out in its strongest form so you can see the intensity of the colour, and also without any of the colour underneath it, just paper, so you can see how it spreads out and how far you can use the colour. Again, I'm using the Smooth Operator Journal, which isn't a watercolour paper. So it's going to appear, it's very lightest on this type of paper. But the colours are going to appear in their most bright, perfect form for you for this video. That's why I've swatched them here for you. And while I'm swatching along, I may as well use up any excess colour that I've got in my brush. So I've started a little sketch on the left hand side of the page to show you how beautifully soft and delicate you can get these watercolours to look. And I think that very often, especially me, I think of high quality art supplies as having lots and lots of pigment, and that is certainly true. But when it comes to actually using our art supplies, of course we love a lovely full-on colour load. But when we are using a delicate look to what we're creating, where it doesn't have to have intensity, it can just be very soft, is a very relaxing way to create. I find it very, very relaxing. And that I also love the high energy vibrancy of colors. I feel that they really lift my mood and enhance however I'm feeling. Whereas maybe I've turned to more delicate colors and more delicate art making, maybe when I'm already feeling really happy, or I'm just already relaxed. I don't need a mood enhancer. Mind you, sometimes I use my super bright colors when I am feeling really happy. I'm an artist, I'm a free spirit, and whatever happens, happens, okay? Sometimes these things can't be looked at and delved into too greatly because the mystery is eroded. But whatever. Here we go with the colours. Soda is white. So, of course, you can't see it on this paper. And I will show you how I use that a little later in the video. Rum and cola is a really dark brown Irish cream, blonde ale, iced tea, beautiful neutrals that you can wash out to use for skin tones. Tia Maria is a lovely blush colour and for the waterline. Claret, Mai Tai, Vermouth, Negroni, these are all beautiful pinks. We also have Cosmo, Rosé. These are more of our cooler pinks. So our Claret, our Mai Tai, our Vermouth are warmer pinks. Tequila is a lovely, lovely warm orange. We have Whiskey, Margarita, Pina Colada and champers. These are all lovely light tones that can be used for highlight areas or drawing lighter skin or lighter fabrics, whatever it is that you want to create. Schnapps and Sling are peaches, and both of them have different intensities. Beautiful again for faces. Cosmo, Rosé again are our really beautiful vibrant pinks. Well, actually, they're not vibrant. I'll take that back. They're a bright, light pink, both of them. Violet Fizz, Bella Luna are our purples. One's cool, one's warm. Blue Hawaii is a lovely royal blue. It's handy for eyes and for adding depth and texture to the darker tones. We've also got Aqua Vitae, which is an indigo. And Zambuca is a really, really lovely dark black that is erring more towards the warmer side. The black that is in the Tropical Reef set, Manta, that's leaning more towards the cooler side. The little illustration that I've started on the left hand side has got very delicate colouring because it's just whatever's left over in my paintbrush. So rather than add the Zambuca, the really darkest dark, I'm adding my lash line and the darkest points of the face with Rum and Cola, which is a brown, and then if I want to add water to that, again, that'll wash out even a little bit lighter. And I've got iced tea to add some depth around the nose and under the nose, just to start bringing out some little features. And because pencils are just so easy to use, because you pick the colour up, you apply it. There's no great surprises with what's going to go down onto the page. It's great to experiment with as many colours as you can. It just makes things more interesting and gives everything more visual texture. The more traditional way of using watercolour pencils is to add your colour to the page or to your surface and then add water and mix the colours. I, of course, use my pencils that way, but I also like using them in other ways. So I like drawing into watercolour or WaterWand that is still drying, and you get quite a lovely effect. And this is one trick that the WaterWands can do that magic wands just cannot. Coloured pencils just can't create colour on wet paper, but WaterWands will do it. And whether that is, like I said, a puddle of watercolour or ink, and then you draw in your pencil to it, you can get really lovely effects. You can also lift the paint straight off your pencil tip and use it like a nice little watercolour as well. And the effect that it gives, it's almost like a crayonish effect. It's also a little bit dependent on the paper and how you're using your pencils, the colours, etc. but these are very painterly, expressive tools that bring another degree of experimentation and playfulness to the creativity process. So rather than just drawing a little face like I'm drawing here that I've drawn a trillion times before, every time I create, it's not so much about the face, it's about the fun that I'm having using my supplies, seeing what the colors do, and enjoying that process of that connection between the paper, running through my body, up through my hand, through to my mind, and vice versa. This cycle of creativity that's going on. It's just a very, very pleasant thing to experience. And you know this experience because you love creating as well. So I love art supplies that furnish that work as expected, plus do something a little bit magic as well. This is that sweet spot of art supply magic that I like to live in. Just looking at this happening on screen, I just really, really enjoyed creating this very soft little ethereal creature that's wafting across the page. Now, you didn't get to see Soda before, which is the white watercolor pencil, and this is how I like to use it, to pastelize colors that are sitting there. It's not going to create bold white lines. For that, I would use a paint pen or one of my candy dippers. In my experience, the only time you can get any form of pencil to leave a bold white line is when you're working on a really nice, dark, matte acrylic paint like my Joyful Gesso. But there's all types of whites and highlights that we need as artists. And something that can bring softness and pastelization is very, very handy, because then it really lets the white highlight that I'm adding here with the paint pen really let that pop. See how the eyes now have life in them, or to me they do, because I've got that softer white in the white part of the eye, the whites of the eye, but the highlight can really pop just like it does in real life, because our eyes, the whites of our eyes aren't really that white. They're quite not really a grey, they're a strange colour. And that colour changes very easily. It changes with our health and with our mood. So having a pastelization tool right there in your coloured pencils, very handy little creature. And you can also use some of those other really light colours that are in that set to do that as well. Now, I really could go on and on and on with the joys of the WaterWands, but I'm going to leave a video here. You've seen the colours, you've seen the sets. If you want to see more, everything is at janedavenport.com, where I have more content, but also I have my Facebook group, and that is where I do my love streams. I misspelled live stream once and misspelled it as love stream, and I think I might just leave it as that. So I do lots of live streaming there. I do live stream on my public page from time to time, but I love to live stream in my Facebook group. So you just need to look for Jane Davenport Mixed Media, and as a group, you'll find us there. You can join. It's also where I preview, hint, and sometimes accidentally show. It has happened many times. Art supplies that are coming up, and it's just full of really lovely people. The WaterWands sets you can buy as a set each, as standalone sets. That was a long way of saying something simple. And you can also buy the Sketcher-size pencil wrap as a standalone thing, or you can have a look at our bundles. We've got bundles for just about everything that sort of goes together in little groups, so that you can get a price saving as a way of me saying thank you for enjoying the art supplies that I absolutely love creating for you.